Often, a piece of music will inspire me. If I listen to it over and over, a whole story can unfold. The Santa Fe Trail came right through here. I love that the ruts cross my property. When I walk in them, I imagine the folks crossing this country in their wagons and wonder about their stories, their dreams, and their loves. I can almost hear their voices in the rustling grass. I'd say this land, with its unspoiled forever views, is my muse. That feeling of history being so enticingly close inspired me to write my novel, Into the Shadowlands. That longing and sense of déjà vu that the character of Julia felt is one I have experienced myself. Like a past life is calling to me. I started rescuing horses in the year 2000, shifting my focus to mustangs in 2007. There are over 40 horses here, and most of them live free range on 1,400 acres. Some of the horses were adopted from the BLM, others from the New Mexico Forest Service or the Navajo Reservation. There are also horses that came from private citizens and other sanctuaries. This year, 2 of my mustangs were rescued from a kill pen in Louisiana. All of the horses have their own story, which I have recounted in my trilogy of horse tales books. Before and during the time of the Santa Fe Trail, mustangs roam the plains alongside the buffalo. It feels immensely gratifying to be able to return a small band of these horses to this far southwestern edge of their old stomping grounds. And I love to watch them graze and frolic along the wagon ruts of the historic trail. In 2012, I moved to Watrous full-time from Santa Fe, and in 2016, I began building my solar, double adobe house on my land. I love that adobe is the traditional method of building houses in New Mexico, and has been since the time of the Pueblos. The double walls help to keep my home refreshingly cool in summer and snug in winter. This house is still a work in progress, and I suspect there will always be finishing jobs to be done for as long as I live here. But working with mud feels as though I am constantly tweaking an enormous sculpture. If this house is still standing 100 years from now, I often wonder what story it will tell. I was born in Hong Kong. My parents were descended from what could be termed British colonial types of various origin. All of my forebears lived adventurous lives and had their own stories. None of them ended up anywhere near the place where they'd been born. I wrote Skydog, my first horse tales book, in answer to the often asked question, what's an English girl from Hong Kong and Singapore doing running a horse sanctuary in New Mexico? Looking back, I'd say my sister and I had an enchanted childhood, living in and traveling to exotic locations. But this kind of upbringing can leave you restless. We went to boarding schools and international schools, and so ultimately, for good and for bad, we ended up feeling as if we weren't really from anywhere. In 1994, when I moved to New Mexico from California, I took up painting. Initially, my artwork featured an isolated white house, somewhat out of place in the vast southwest scenery. Over the years, I incorporated horses into my paintings. And then, at some point, I'm not exactly sure when, the little white house turned into a little adobe house that is far more at home in its surroundings. In many of my paintings, I feature storm clouds and rain. Living in New Mexico, you can become somewhat rain-obsessed. Cloud watching and praying for rain turns into a daily routine, especially during the summer monsoon season. When the rain does come, it is a blessed event for everyone. 2021 has been a good year, but drought is a constant worry. In the past decade, we have had more dry years than wet. When there has been no rain or snow on the mountains, there is little grass on the range for the horses and no water for irrigation. During dry years, hay can be hard to find and very expensive. But with uncertainty comes the necessity to live one day at a time. There are no guarantees, so you have to take each year as it comes and make the best of it, which is not such a bad thing. I have no idea how my personal life story will end, but I'd like to think it will include another chapter or two. I do know that I would like New Mexico to always be a part of my life. I love its combination of cultures, its wildlife, and its vast, wide-open vistas. I also love its history. I was very excited when I published my novel, Into the Shadowlands, and in celebration of that, in the spring of 2018, I set out with my horse Fancy and my dog Holly to retrace the route the characters in my book had followed along the Santa Fe Trail. This journey was later turned into a film that I collaborated on with my father. New Mexico has a way of making even an ordinary day feel like a larger-than-life adventure. Being able to share this dream come true with Fancy, Holly, my dad, and all of the ghosts of those long-ago travelers of the trail was definitely a golden memory I will cherish for the rest of my life.